It is officially harvest time on First Gen Farm. We don't got much time to waste. Let's get to it. We've been working on the combine the last couple days, getting it ready for the harvest season. We're going to start with beans since they were the first crop in the ground. And last episode, we really dived into our hay operation with producing the absolute most grass that we have had in a long time. Popping up to our PDA, you can see that top left field. We ended up hiring out the baling on all three of the north plots. I ran out of time trying to get things set up for harvest, and we still have to go and pick up all those bales with my trailer. Our first field is directly off to my left, and then we're going to head to the right. And if that all goes to plan, we will head over to corn and start working on the corn crop. I want to take a moment to thank you guys for tuning in. I am going to be editing this video again, so if things look a little bit different, that is why. However, if First Gen Farm does interest you and you want to follow along between this and the Big Time Operator, you got to let us know by heading down below, smashing that like button, consider subscribing. Let's do ourselves a favor, dive into the first part of the field, hop on out, check behind to see what we got coming out. Looks pretty clean. I really need to look into getting a bigger header. Only problem is, I believe the 3162 requires too much horsepower. Yeah, 400 horsepower for that thing. Yeah, we can only get a 20-footer for the auger one. That kind of doesn't make sense, but I guess it is what it is. We did a couple grain contracts the last few weeks, equating to an extra $5,000, putting us just over 10. And the cows are just about ready to go to market. Which, if we take a look at our price tags, we are on the rise, which is so reassuring. We will be storing our beans so that way we can sell them probably over at the old mill, because it looks like it's almost $1 more. Corn we'll have to hold on to for a little while longer. Every field was meticulously worked on so that way we could optimize and maximize our yield potential. I don't know how much work I'm going to be doing with Arthur, but compared to last season, we really should be bringing in a lot more crop. And to my surprise, I guess it is now nighttime. I didn't think I skipped that far through the day, but we're going to be harvesting a bit through the night. Beans are pulling good with a half tang on just the second headland. If we're pulling this good of a yield on beans, that means our corn is going to be so good. But with the cattle industry not being fully up to speed, we are still going to need a feed mixer, we need a forage harvester, and if we want the grass to be fertilized properly, we need to buy a manure spreader. Pretty sure that equated all to almost $100,000, which we're about a tenth of the way there. And to my knowledge, I do not have any grain left in the bins. There's no way that's my farm. And then I think that's Arthur's. Yes. Both of those sites are Arthur's. So we actually have 300 bushels of corn in our own bin site. Interesting. I'd probably better go and grab the gravity wagon so that way I can have something to dump in. We'll throw Daryl in the driver's seat and keep on trucking. I really got to thank Bernie up at the dairy farm just to the left of my neighbors who stores the mower and the rake. He came out with his boxcar Magnum and used an H&S merger to get the rest of our field on the far north side put together for the baler. What is it with me and never putting fuel in any of the equipment? That doesn't make any sense. Looks as though Daryl is getting himself set up to run the rows. What we really could do is just pass our way through the night, catch back up with you guys in the morning when we are fully underway. And I can also get the trailer hooked up so we can go and pick up those bales. If I'm correct, the trailer should still be up at my neighbor's. I don't exactly remember where I put it. There's the M and the case. But where's my... There it is. I was like, where's my trailer at? Nice thing about having round bales is that apparently you can just drive right next to these things and the trailer will automatically pick it up as long as you don't, barrel your truck over the edge. We're going to take a bulk of these over to the pasture and see how long it takes for us to fill it up. And the rest of these will probably end up selling, with the exception of maybe 4 to help us get through the winter time. It looks like we got at least one more cutting out of each piece of ground, but I almost don't think we're gonna need it. I also personally think you could stack another 4 bales on the back half of the trailer. That's just me. I want you guys to head down to the comment section. Let me know which of the 2 animals do you prefer to raise more in American farming. Are you more of a cattle person or are you more of a hog person? I've heard that hogs can be very, very profitable on a quicker standpoint, but in the long-term game, the cattle probably pay off more. It just takes a lot more resources to do the cattle efficiently. Okay, moo-moos, let's see what this does for you. Pasture's still only about a third of the way full. Well, fear not, because we have plenty more bales to pick up. How's Daryl doing on the combine? I wouldn't think he's full, but he might be starting to get close considering how much he got on just the headlands. That's what's so nice about beans is that the crop fills the combine so slow you can just leave the wagon at the end of the field and call it a day. I also don't think I could have timed that any more perfect because he'd have been hitting us on the next pass back. Very nice. You keep doing you, Daryl. We'll keep on trucking. As we keep picking more and more of these bales up, you guys are going to be surprised at how many of them can be pulled out of a single field. I'm not really excited to go and pick up the ones on the far north plot. There is a lot. I did not think it was going to get that many, but there is just a lot. If I'd been doing that with a regular hay rack, I probably would have been there for about 45 minutes. Uh-oh, we got a runaway. I know this could definitely be avoided just by using a square baler, but I personally prefer round bales. It's just what I'm more familiar with and what I'm usually used to using. We still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 more bales. So 2 trips. I'm not entirely sure of the value difference between what a hay rack of hay and a round bale trailer on this particular model gets. My guess is at least 2 to 3 of these going to the pasture should fill it up. Because hypothetically, if we think about it in liters, if 1 square bale is 500 and one of these is 9,000, that's 18 square bales to 1 of these. At least I think that's how math works. Oh yeah, it's moving up now. Except now I want to check my math. Yes, I am right, because 18 times 5 is 90. Add the 2 zeros, 9,000. Raise your right hand and say aye if math was not one of your strong suits. But now if we do the math, 9,000 liter bales, and we got 10 of them on there, that's 90,000 liters. Which means we'd have to have 500 bales on a rack for that to be the same amount as this. Yikes. That's a lot of grass. No wonder these things only sell for peanuts. Trip number 3, I'd say that works just fine. Let's go work on the bean operation for a little bit. And then later this afternoon, we are going to truck our way up north and go and pick up the rest of those bales on the north side and possibly see if we can sell some of them to the mill. Aw, Daryl, you left a line of shame. Come on, man. Don't do that. What's the hopper at, good buddy? Holy cow, it is full. Ain't no way we get a whole trailer out of one field. Last year, we couldn't even get a trailer out of all of our ground. If you guys remember all the way back on episode 1, I think we did a full calendar year as one story. And I started with a crop of beans, and it was the worst financial decision I ever made in my life. Did not pull hardly any money, and I really learned my lesson. But I think this is year 3, if I remember correct. So we've definitely learned a lot. Not enough to be rich, but we've learned enough. Let's get this back to the bin site, and we will shuffle our way over to the east. Arthur will have his combine in my area within the next couple of days. I don't know if he exactly needs help from me. If he does, I might just help him transport grain. Last year we got a little bit of his profit because we pretty much harvested all of his ground. But any way I can really help out in the community has been the cornerstone as to why this has been such a successful farm. But those guys have really been the saving grace that's kept this farm afloat, and that is the co-op. Between the co-op and now the dealer almost like sponsoring our farm, we've been able to optimize our systems so well that it really has helped us save on the costs that it takes to farm. Getting all of the chemical, seed, and necessary equipment to maximize our yield potential is so expensive, and since we have the co-op to rent that stuff or custom have them come out and do it for us, that has like really sped up the turnaround of getting our land to the best capabilities that it has. Which, yes, as for the beans, I know I didn't need to put nitrogen on them because it doesn't help at all, but for the realism of pre-emerge and spraying for weeds, you kind of got to run a sprayer through the ground, and the only thing you can spray in the game is liquid nitrogen. Looks like Arthur has 2 beans to 1 corn, and he'll probably call me up when he starts getting on corn. I don't think he's going to need my help when he does beans. It's going to be crucial that we keep renting out the ground that we are currently using, because we got one heck of a deal on this. And if I could find any more ground to help expand the farm for a slightly cheaper rate, then I most certainly am going to do it. Land prices are not cheap in this game. If I were to look at expanding anywhere, I'd have to buy the yard that's just south of Arthur's, the one south of my neighbor, the boot to the right of what would be Thomas's, or maybe even the boomerang up by my hay ground. Everything else is basically unfinancially attainable for at least a couple seasons. Might throw the drone up for just a wee bit, get some shots of the combine, getting its ripping in. 'Cause I like money, yeah. I like money, yeah. In the name of science, let's take a load of bales straight to the mill just to see what these big round bales will get us. I'm pretty sure a rack of bales got me almost $700 back when I used the square baler. And I highly, highly doubt that we were able to fit 500 of those little square bales on the rack. But maybe I'm wrong. About $1,200. Not too bad. So almost a 40-ish% increase if we were to have a full trailer full of round bales. Wish I'd had a bale counter so I'd know how many are in this plot. And it kind of sucks that the grass already grew back in, as it'd be a lot easier to show you guys how many are in here. I think we have at least 3 trips worth. That's my guess. I could say there's at least another 30 in here. Uh-oh, we got a bale in the creek. Man, these things do like to run away, don't they? Don't really want to sabotage my truck. We'll just throw the 6.0 in 4-wheel drive and just hope that we can get this thing out of here like a boat. There we go. Dig, 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 dig. Yeah! I still did not blow a head gasket. Got any more lying in the creek bed? Doesn't look like it. On our last load for the day, we'll just bring those back to the house for storage. That way we have at least a little bit of a bulk supply for said cattle. I think that's 6. My eyes serve me correct? No, maybe 7. It's just so hard to see the bales because the grass is already halfway up the thing. That brings us up to $3,600 in bale profit, plus the extra that we'll get to take back to the farm. That'll do for me. My only real concern is that I do not believe that the shed that originally starts you with bales in it automatically loads them when you dump them there. But we'll just back this up into the shed. So that way when we're ready to load them into the trough, it's already ready to go. Ha! Well, I kind of lucked out. I accidentally was blocking the combine, but he'd been full in a 20-foot pass anyway. So that worked out nicely. Man, we might have a full hopper out of this field as well. He's getting some crazy yields to our yield bonus. I think we'll let Daryl finish up this farm, and we'll truck our way back to the house so we can get the combine set for corn. Well, it's not exactly full, but I'd put it about 98-ish%. The boys are hard at work getting the combine swapped over. I'm going to get this dumped out. I want to thank you guys all for watching today's episode. If you want to see more of First Gen Farm, be sure to check out that playlist in your top right-hand corner of your screen. Just to see how much is in the bin site, there is all of our beans in the bin, which puts us just over 600. I think that's a good place to start. Always remember to keep it light, keep it loose, keep it fresh, and most importantly, keep it fun. We shall see you guys all in the next one. This is Squad Farms out. Peace.